to Married to the Hustle, the podcast where love, faith, and business come together.
I'm Jessica, and with me is my partner in life and business, Alex. Together, we're diving into the wild world of entrepreneurial couples.
Each week, we'll bring you real stories, hilarious moments, and valuable insights from couples who are building businesses and rocking their relationships. Talk about living the dream.
Or surviving the nightmare.
So buckle up and get ready for a fun ride with Married to the Hustle. Welcome back, guys, to the Married to the Hustle podcast. I'm Alex, your co-host, and I am joined by my beautiful wife, Jessica.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
And on today's episode, we're going to be speaking about bouncing back from business setbacks, right? Things that hold you from growing, pulling you in other directions that you thought you were not going to go in. And we're going to talk a little bit about our experiences and then some examples as well, and how you can overcome some of those obstacles as an entrepreneur couple. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and the role of failure in success. That one touches me so hard, Jessica, because in order to have success, you have to have failure.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely. And I don't think a lot of people see it that way.
Correct. Everyone just thinks that, you start up and you go and there's no bumps in the road. And unfortunately, there's quite a bit of bumps and obstacles and hurdles that you have to overcome. And we've learned that, both in our business and your business as well, right? With your coaching business. What are some experiences that you have experienced? And then we can share some, what we've experienced here at Exclusive too.
Yeah. There's been many times that we hit roadblocks, and whether that roadblock was in hiring. I don't know if you remember those days right after the pandemic, we were trying to hire like crazy, and it just got so intense because it didn't seem like anybody wanted to work. And so taking a moment to sit back and really understand what our need was, and in having a leadership conversation, a temp agency came up, and we never even thought that we were ready for a temp agency at the time. And so we partnered with a temp agency, and they started to get people on the clock for us within 48 hours. And so part of hitting roadblocks is not just staying there, because many times when you experience a challenge, it's not, okay, how you got there and now you're stuck. It's, okay, what's the lesson learned and how do you bounce back from that? And that's what causes resilience. And so that leads us into key number one on building resilience, which is learning opportunities. There are so many learning opportunities when we fail. So many. And, even in preparing for this podcast, you guys, I was thinking of that song of if at first you don't succeed, right? Dust yourself off and try again. And so that's part of learning how to bounce back. You start to think strategically, or how can I do something different? And you pull in resources and you start talking to other mentors or coaches or people in your network, that might be experiencing some of the same issues that you have, and what's worked for them and what hasn't. And so we tend to take that as a learning opportunity to see what we can do different, because we cannot continue to do the same thing expecting different results. And so that was the first one. It's learning opportunities and what failures bring your way.
And just wanted to touch on that too, that we all expect everything to go perfect all the time. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. But failures, it's what helps you get to that next level in success. Analyzing what went wrong, what can we do different, gaining insights that lead to better decision making and strategies. And it's not handed to us. Like, we have to learn these things, right? And I'm appreciative of that. We've hit many bumps and we continue to hit bumps, but it's overcoming those and learning from it and just continue growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And so that leads us also to that resilience building of not stopping. Right. That's the number two. It's like, I don't stop. Once I hit a roadblock, once I hit a challenge, right, and I experience a setback, I don't stop there. It's all about what my pastor was talking about a couple of weeks ago. He talked about protecting our progress, right?
Yeah.
And so when we get to a certain place in our lives or in our business, this can't be it, right? I know when I got to corporate, many of you guys know that I spent 25 years climbing the corporate ladder, pursuing position, pursuing title, pursuing financial freedom. And I was pursuing a title and not necessarily pursuing purpose. So as I started to get there, I started to feel like, okay, this is not what it was all meant to be. It didn't feel like there's no way I worked this hard to get here. And so I'm not ready to stop now. And so that's when my mind started to go into a more challenging way. You were already experiencing the entrepreneurial life. And I was just kind of like, I had my toes dipped in it. You were all into the entrepreneurial journey before I was. And so I started to dip my toe because, I'll just coach from the sidelines. I'll help you from the sidelines, but not seeing myself and doing this full time. And the reality is that entrepreneurship is a continual learning experience. It's a journey. We're in the journey of becoming who we've been called to be. And part of that is that resilience building.
Right. I think being entrepreneurial couple as well, I've spoken to plenty of people and they think it's easy. It's not easy. I mean, like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, I'm at a 10 plus for sure. Right.
Yeah. I'm at an 11.
Right. Because there's always something to learn, especially at the industry that you're in, right? We're in the janitorial space and the competition is just fierce. How do you overcome that? How do you stand out from that and learning and continuous learning and taking in the proper knowledge and getting things in place? And believe it or not, probably about 75% of that comes from failure. So yeah, the resilience it's a big key part to that. And also I believe there's another part is like the innovation, right? What comes out of failure, it can force us as entrepreneurs to think creativity and find new solutions, right? And that's what we're doing in our space, right? Because we have to set yourself apart from the competition. Right?
Absolutely. And technology is it's a big deal. I mean, there are so many tools out there, even when you look at AI, right? Let's say even when you look at ChatGPT, anyone that tells me now that they don't have content to put out on their social media or their blog or whatever, I'm like, are you serious? There's so many tools out there available to help us put content out. It's not about the content. It goes back to time management. It goes back to other areas. And so there are so many ways to do things better and the technology behind it that I'll be honest with you, Clean Smarts comes to mind. Clean Smarts. I mean, these are folks that, they're familiar with the janitorial industry and they realized that there wasn't an app out there that did all of the things that they needed for it to do.
Right.
And so they came up with this tool and the tool has been an incredible experience for us. Have there been hiccups? Totally.
Absolutely.
Did the team resist it? Absolutely. But it really helped drive innovation in our business. And a lot of the things that are experiencing, it actually has helped us have a competitive advantage. And it is also a unique selling proposition for us because we have communication and technology at our fingertips, supply management, inventory management. And there's so many other things that come from that. These are things that drive innovation, right? When you are experiencing setbacks and when you're experiencing challenges and it automatically leads you to that. And so that was our point number 3. Absolutely. Innovation is definitely a key part.
I'll be honest with you. There's points where we come to, and you've heard me say this several times, like, that's it, I'm done. But I do believe that there's a bigger meaning behind what we're doing, and God would tell, right? God will tell. And I keep hearing, and don't quit, don't give up, continue going through the hurdles. This is what you're doing. You're learning, you're getting better at it. And we have to hear that inner voice, because the easy thing to do is just quit, walk away from it. That's the easy way out. So yeah, it is pivotal to continue your growth, to continue learning, continue making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. You get down because you're building your baby, right? And you're thinking everything is in place and nothing can fail. Unfortunately, things do happen. We just have to be strong and overcome those hurdles and just continue. I was reading something, right? I'm always looking to see what are other businesses and how did they come to be and how did they become so successful, right? And one of the stories that caught my eyes, and this is just touching on it briefly, it's a very famous ice cream brand, Ben and Jerry's. The founders, Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, they faced plenty of challenges. Not only it's a product that you're trying to sell, but it's in the food service business. They're selling ice creams, right? And Ben and Jerry, everybody knows Ben and Jerry's, right? One of my favorite flavors they make is the Americone Dream. I love that ice cream. But they face multiple challenges. Number one, and it's a really big one, is financial struggles. Going through financial struggles in the business, it's tough. They were able to overcome that, overcome product recalls because they have a food product, right? Something that they did, it didn't go well with the public, but they were able to overcome that. And they persevered by staying true to their value and focusing on the quality of the product, right? And look at where they're at now. They're a multi-million-dollar business, right?
Yeah. And I actually had the pleasure of going there in person many years ago. And they have such an amazing process. I mean, I was really impressed with their factory up in, I believe it was in New Hampshire or Maine up there.
But I mean, you can hear the story. It took them trials and tribulations to get there where they're at, but they just stuck it through and they were focused on the product that they were trying to put out there for the customers, right? And help them stand out. And Ben and Jerry's, I mean, who doesn't know Ben and Jerry's, right? But that's just a little example that I wanted to share because, it's not just us, right? They're the big brands, if you read about Steve Jobs with Apple, all the obstacles that he's went through, all these big corporations, everybody goes to these hurdles. And what's going to set you apart is being able to overcome them.
Absolutely. I love that story, actually. And, another one that comes to mind for me is one that I researched when I was in college. It was the Burt's Bees company. And so basically how that company came about, I don't have all the details like you did. You're so good. You researched it ahead of time. I didn't. But when it came to Burt's Bees, I did some research. I had to do a paper years ago, and it turned out it was beekeeper who was tossing the wax from the bees after he did whatever he did. And somebody else came across the wax and thought, there's got to be something that you could do with this. And, she came to him a couple times and he was like, oh, please, take it. I don't care. It's garbage. And she was like, no, this is not garbage. We've got to do something. And the woman turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. Talk about innovation, right? I'm sure they went through their own struggles. I'm sure they went through their own hurdles. What can we do differently? And I don't think even initially it was an opportunity to capitalize on it. It's just that they knew it was a waste. And so I think it's really important to identify those areas in our lives where, are we being wasteful, right? Do we have other resources that we're not tapping into? And what are some ways that we can utilize those resources or those tools or even those people around us to collaborate and connect and be able to help us just build a stronger entrepreneurial journey so that we can bounce back easier? Because you know what? The failure, it hurts.
Right.
It hurts.
Right.
And the bounce back is not always easy. It's rewarding, but it's not always easy. And so these are the things that many people don't talk about. It's about overcoming the challenges and setbacks that come our way, whether you have full control of it or not. Many times they're self-inflicted wounds. You and I speak about that all the time, right? About our own self-inflicted wounds, but being able to find ways where we can bounce back and where we can build resilience and build strength and identify those learning opportunities and continue to drive innovation to be able to help us succeed is what's going to be a differentiator for us. And you know what? These will be stories that we'll tell in the future. These will be stories that we'll share with our children and our grandchildren as we continue to grow the business. And so, this was awesome. This was an awesome discussion.
Yeah, that was really good to touch on because it goes through everyone's mind, especially when you're trying to build something on your own or your spouse. And we've learned that every failure is just a stepping stone to success.
Absolutely.
Each time something doesn't go as planned, we gain new insights, and it helps us make better decisions in the future. And you just have to go with that and continue going with that.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, guys. So today, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. If you have some experiences where you yourself have bounced back and you've been resilient, or perhaps you're going through it right now, feel free to reach out to us. We love having these conversations with you guys and to hear what's happening out there in the world and in the field. And I think it's really important as entrepreneurs that, we stick together. We stick together. We grow together, because entrepreneurship is a hustle, as you all know. And I can't wait to continue to share with you. Alex and I are putting together some new podcast episodes, and I'm so excited to be able to continue to serve you guys in this capacity. And so until next time,
keep hustling.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
That wraps up another episode of Married to the Hustle. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found some inspiration and practical tips to apply to your own business journey.
We love hearing from you, our amazing listeners. If you have any stories, questions, or tips to share, connect with us on social media or send us an email. Your input makes this podcast even better.
And don't forget to subscribe to Married to the Hustle on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. It really helps us grow and reach more entrepreneurial couples like you.
Join us next week for more exciting stories, insightful interviews, and valuable advice. Until then, keep hustling, keep thriving, and keep loving what you do.
Thanks for tuning in, and happy hustling.